Hey there, this is Dr. Renee Tucker. I'm now going to talk about the last two transfer points, the contracted heels and the sesamoid bones. First, let's talk about contracted heels. Well, many vets and farriers can help you when you're doing the evaluation of your contracted heels, if you like. What you do is you pick up the foot, just holding it like you're going to pick it out and stuff, and look at the heels. What we're looking for is space in between the right and left heel bulbs. I look for a space about as wide as my thumb. Just generally speaking, depends of course on the size of the horse. Now, in this situation, a picture is worth 1,000 words here. So take a look at this picture. On the left, you see some severely contracted heels. The blue arrow is pointing at what looks like a crack. It's a vertical line, and that is actually the only space that's left. The right and left heel bulbs are literally being jammed and squished together, and all that's left is a crack. So on the right side of this picture, you see a normal horse. There's a right heel bulb, a space, and then a left heel bulb, and that's what you want to see on your horse. It doesn't have to be quite as big as that horse's space, but you need space. So let's talk about why is having contracted heels bad for suspensories? Does that make sense? Yes, it does make sense. Here's what happens. The horse's foot hits the ground, okay? And what's supposed to happen is the heel bulbs are supposed to open up a little bit and stretch, essentially. When that happens, the coffin bone tips down. It just flexes down a little bit. And attached to the coffin bone are some parts, some accessory ligaments of the suspensory ligament. So part of the suspensory will be having extra stretch and strain on it if the contracted heels are not addressed. What can you do? Well, in this case, each horse is an individual, and so you need to make an individual plan. Definitely, you can work with your vet, your farrier, or you can choose to do however you like. I do want to tell you that it'll be a whole lot faster if you can get the shoes off. It'll just speed it up a lot. You can fix contracted heels while keeping the shoes on, and I know in some cases you need to do that, but it will take much, much longer without letting the heels expand and contract with every single step. So let's move on to the sesamoids. Now these are important, and they're our last checkup here today. Let's take a look at where those are located. On this diagram, you can see that back of the fetlock, there's right and left sesamoids in each leg. You gotta check both of those. So once again, you're going to hold the leg up in a nice relaxed position and find the sesamoids. And you're gonna find them and you're gonna wiggle them. And you already know what I'm talking about with the wiggle. It's very similar to the accessory carpal bone wiggle. We talked about that in the last video, and it's where you just find the bone, like our pisiform in a wrist, and wiggle it, okay? This wiggles, this doesn't wiggle. Wait, that does wiggle. And this doesn't wiggle. Okay, so again, pick up the leg, wiggle the sesamoid bones. Now, you may say to yourself, really, are these little bones really that important? And of course, I'm going to say yes, okay, because the suspensory does run over those bones. But I wanted to tell you one little quick story. I had a client one time, had just finished fixing her horse a few days ago, and she called me and said, hey, your horse is lame. I was like, really? What happened? She said her horse got her left front foot caught in the fence somehow, and she saw her just had to wrench the leg out, and now she was lame only to the left. So I'm like, all right, so I come back out. I'm thinking, the shoulder's gonna be off, the elbow, the whole thing is just gonna be a wreck because, really pulling your arm out of a fence is gonna torque it in a lot of different places. So I see the horse, it's lame only to the left and only a little bit. We're talking 1 out of 5 head bob, just a little bit, only to the left. Straight is fine, to the right is fine. So, like I said, I'm fixing to fix the whole leg, and the whole leg's not bad. Only one sesamoid was off. The lateral one on the left front leg was off. And I just tell you this story to say that I was amazed. I'm like, really? This is it? And so I fixed the one sesamoid. Now, it was really jammed up. It was just really torqued and bad. But nevertheless, I fixed one sesamoid, and that horse trotted off sound to the left. It's like, what? Really? Really, I was quite surprised. But it was the only time I've ever had the opportunity where just one thing is off. it hardly ever happens. Usually there's a lot of things, because when one thing's off, other things compensate and they get off, and it's all kind of complex. But this had one sesamoid off and the horse was lame. Keep that in mind so you can check your sesamoids and know what's going on. All right, that is the end. We have gone through the 4 transfer points and why you should check them and why they affect your suspensory. So I'm telling you, seriously, if all 4 of these transfer points are working optimally, your suspensory is going to be fine. Why? There's really 2 reasons. One is that concussive force is going to transfer optimally up the leg and dissipate up at the shoulder area. So it won't be torquing and straining the suspensory. And 2, again, if everything is working optimally, when the suspensory is working, there's slack in the system. There's just extra space, extra room for moving over here, and oh, I need a little pull more over there, and everything is just, it's got more space. It's not tight all the time because nothing is flowing. I hope that made sense. Anyways, seriously, you may now go back out to the barn, check all your stuff, and I'm hoping this helped everybody a lot. Remember, all the links for everything else that might help you down in the description below. And I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks again. Bye-bye.